Barbie pink. Like, right, that's very identifiable. Like everybody can sort of picture like that Barbie bright neon pink, like
Yes.
the pink,
Yes,
pink, pink,
indeed.
pinkity pink, pink.
Yep.
Um, so they've got a burger with what they describe as a delicious smoky pink sauce. But it's that exact. The sauce is that it looks like the texture, the consistency almost looks like a cheese sauce, like a heavy cheese, like that, like a really
Yeah, like
thick
a
cheese sauce.
queso type
Yeah, but it's
nacho cheese.
bright Barbie pink, and I feel like I want to get you one.
You know, that kind of makes me feel sick to my stomach.
There's also a Barbie donut shake you can get, which is a strawberry milkshake. But with a
Oh,
literal donut placed on the straw. That's interesting.
oh
And
no.
something called Ken's potato, which I do not have a picture of,
My, oh
but apparently,
my.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I need more information on Ken's potato, but
Huh.
so that's apparently some sort of the French fry side situation, but I don't know. I don't understand what that would be. Why it's called Ken's potato.
Maybe because it's blonde like Ken.
Yeah, I like a I like a promotional tie-in, but
I don't know
I don't
about
know.
that
I don't know about this
sauce.
one.
The sauce really, I mean, okay, a pink shake,
Mhm.
sure. Um, the pink burger sauce, I don't like the idea of that at all.
Yeah. If
No,
I
not a bit.
gave you $3, would you try it?
I would take a
You'd
tiny
still
lick
have to
of the sauce.
you'd still have to buy the meal, by the way. So $3 is to cover
No,
this.
I'm gonna get the gay person who goes with me to Barbie and sits on my lap. I'm gonna get them to get me the burger.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems
Um,
fair.
it does. But I want to get the sauce on the Impossible Whopper, okay?
Yeah, and I don't know if that's I don't have enough information, partially because these descriptions are in languages that aren't English and that I don't speak. So I don't have enough information on whether you can get it as an Impossible Burger, but
So wait,
um,
is this promo in the US or is this
this is
elsewhere?
not in the US.
Okay.
So you have to go to other countries. So I would have to travel. That's why I'm only giving
Interesting.
you $3 because I spent all my money to fly to, say, Brazil,
I guess you
which is one of the
did.
places, and then bring it back to you. Or maybe I could, I mean, I guess even like Grubhubbing food from Brazil was probably not any cheaper than just flying there and getting it. So it's probably going to be either way. It's going to cost me a lot of money to get you this burger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I would say you may as well just take the trip to Brazil and like spend some time, see some sights and get the meal.
yeah,
I mean, why not? Travel is always broadening.
travel is always running. When did you go to Brazil? I went for the Barbie burger meal. I I feel like there are going to be homosexuals in my social media sphere who are going to be like mapping this out now because there is a level of Barbie obsession that is both delightful and unheard of. And frankly, I'm kind of excited about it and I'm excited that people are excited because I feel like movies are kind of boring lately because even though they're things that I like sometimes, like I like all the superhero movies and I like the Marvel movies and I've seen them all and stuff like that, and they're fine, but also like,
Mm-hmm.
holy crap, could there be something different at the movie? And there is, people just don't go to see it. So I'm glad that people are excited about Barbie because even though, I mean, it feels very idiosyncratic, even as I mean, I'm saying this about a like Mattel brand product
I know,
movie,
right?
but
I'm
it
so
feels
tired of
very,
all the Marvel. I'm ready for Mattel.
but it feels very, I don't know. It feels very not that, you know what I mean? It
Well,
feels
and
very unique.
I was at the movies last week, believe it or not. Me at the movies. What? Who am I? I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, you can't keep saying that
To
and
be
then tell us about
determined.
movies you went to every
But
week. So at some point you're going to have to get a new personality in there.
right? No, don't
Yeah.
worry, I'm working on it. Everything has to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Um, but I was at the movie theater and I was seeing Ziggy Stardust the motion picture, which I've seen hundreds of times in my
Mhm.
life, but I got to see it on the big screen and they did the trailer for the Barbie movie and it
Okay.
looked like it's going to be really good. Like
Yeah, I'm excited.
I wanted to see it. I'd heard about it, and for some reason, I was like, it sounds fun. I kind of want to see it. And then seeing the trailer, I was like, oh my gosh, I really, really want to see this.
Yeah, and that's fascinating that even the straight people are getting into it. That's how you know. I mean, it's like really it's moving forward.
Yeah, it did look good though. So if you are going to the Barbie movie and you feel like inviting your friend,
I will
you could
see if
invite
there
me.
are I will see if there are enough seats left after all the gays have bought all their tickets.
I
That's all
think
I
there
can
are going
say
to be
at
enough
this time.
seats.
You say this. I think you have no idea.
Do
I think you have
so
no idea what's going on.
do you have to go on opening night?
Do like is there
Like
you mean is that the law or do I what do you what's
like
I
is
don't understand the question.
because I'm thinking maybe it'll be crowded like opening night. If that's still a thing for movies, is it? It is, right?
Yeah, they don't just no, they don't just start at the beginning of time and then go
No, but it
indefinitely.
used to
There
be
is a there
really
is a
important. Like
there is an opening night
like
situation
people would
with
line
things.
up and it was really important to go to the first showing and stuff.
Okay, now you're just pretending you don't know how movies have worked for the you buy your tickets in advance, you don't line up. You know this. You know this because you've been to the movie. So you can stop
Yes.
pretending like, "Oh, what is the movie? I don't even know. Do they still have people in the movies? What is there popcorn at the movies? I don't know."
Oh,
You go to the movies like more than most people. So you can
you know,
stop pretending you don't know what a movie is.
I've been twice this year, I think.
Okay, that is most people go to like a movie a year. So
Cool.
you're
Look at
doing
me, I'm
great.
winning.
I know. And did you line up outside? And was the movie already playing because it had begun at some indefinite time in the past?
I no, I did get a little bit confused though, because
Okay.
I didn't. I guess the thing is, I am not usually the one with the ticket for the movie necessarily.
Oh, you're one of those people. Okay.
And this time I was. And so my confusion was, oh, down the hall outside the theaters, there was a young woman sitting alone on a chair with a scanner. Because I thought I should go to some kind of kiosk or booth or something, but that wasn't how it went.
But you already had your tickets,
Yeah. And then she just had to scan them with the thing.
right? Which is kind of what would happen if it were a concert, right?
Yeah. I guess with concerts, I'm more used to security at the door.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And there's no security at the theater. I'm pretty good. Like, I go to shows and stuff. So I know how to navigate when it's like a bouncer situation.
I just I don't want to suggest that I was bored by your story about the time you went to the movies, but
It was pretty
I'm
boring, wasn't it?
looking and they don't have okay, this is homophobia is what this is. So I'm looking now
What are
at
they doing?
I clicked through on some of the Barbie stuff while you were talking to see when the movie was playing, and then I got sidetracked because they were selling Barbie merchandise
Oh my.
through I was looking at Cinemark, and they have tank tops, but they're all women's tank tops. Like, what does that mean? Can I wear a women's tank top?
Yes.
Okay. What is it? Is it gonna fall off because I don't have I don't have breasts? I mean, I
Not
have breasts.
usually.
Literally, I guess I have breasts.
Yeah, not usually with a tank top. I mean, I guess I have like more, things I used to wear to the office that are tank top shaped, but they're structured with darts and stuff.
Hmm.
But any kind of, workout tank top or whatever I have, it's just stretchy.
Okay. So
It doesn't have like extra seams to accommodate my bust.
I can wear a quote unquote women's tank top.
Yes. And
Okay.
you will rock it. I hope it's Barbie pink.
There are two black ones, and then there's a white one, and then
Oh, you
there's
are
a
a little
Barbie pink one.
edgy. You'd probably get the black one, wouldn't you?
Well, the Barbie pink one, I don't like it's got like a weird B on it that is not recognizable to me as the Barbie logo. Maybe
Okay.
I'm not into Barbies that much, so it's sort of I don't know. The black one says like Barbie on it, which is kind of what I want. The
Yeah.
the pink one, I like the pink one, but I'm not sure I don't like the graphic on it. This
I
is fascinating for
understand.
everyone.
It is
Welcome
fascinating.
everyone
I
to
mean,
the Sound of
everybody
Tomorrow.
is, yeah, this is really good. Yeah, I think you should get the black one. That would look really good. You
All
could
right,
do more of your thirst trap photos with it.
everybody, you're listening to the Sound of Tomorrow on WY 104.3, but don't tell anyone you are because it's embarrassing. Frankly,
Everybody understands. It's
it's
fine.
uncomfortable.
It's
Um,
fine. Everybody understands. So speaking of other fun things to do around town, we
oh,
have the Barbie movie that we're going to go to.
right,
I guess we'll
which is
invite
hyper
everybody who's
local.
listening. Um, but then, actually, speaking of hyper local, I have remembered that Shakespeare in the Park is going on in the Highland Bowl,
Um,
and that's like the Rochester community players.
yeah, which I don't know much about the Rochester community players, even though I probably should,
I know, so
but
should I.
I feel like
Um,
I should be supportive.
yeah, and it's just I've been noticing there's some cool free stuff to do in this town, and I really like that because it's like a place where just a family can go and pull up on their little blanket and see a show for free. I also found out these are all Googleable. The city does movies in the park every month during
Yeah,
the summer.
yeah,
And
that I
I
know. I don't
hadn't
think I've
known
ever
about
gone to one.
that. I haven't either. Um, but it's just really neat. And then I guess it was last week I made it over to Ontario Park, where because I don't leave the city at any point, I almost never go. But Jeepers Creepers, that's a nice place.
How was that?
Yeah,
And that would be in Ontario, I assume.
that's like the Charlotte Pier Park and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, so it's not,
It's called Ontario Park.
but you didn't go to Ontario, the town,
No, 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 no.
nor the
It's
province,
called
I
on.
assume.
No,
Okay.
no, it's called Ontario Park though. But so that's there's fun city stuff going on. I think we have a group going to Shakespeare in the Park when we can get it together. They're doing the Merry Wives of Windsor this year.
I love that. Yeah, so according to this, the Rochester Community Players are the oldest community theater in New York State,
Whoa,
incorporated in 1924.
whoa, wow! They're almost 100 years old.
They started at the German House.
I've been
If
there.
you can believe it. You have. It's true. You might have been at their opening show, which was Wedding Bells.
I was. For
Yep.
I am almost 100 years old as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's fascinating. I have decided that I need more culture in my life. We went this weekend to we went to part of the Stratford Festival in, I guess,
Yeah,
Stratford, Ontario, Canada, not the town, not the park, but the
fun.
the province of Canada.
Yeah.
um and we went to see a production of Rent, partially because it was
Ooh.
the timing, because it was Mike's family reunion. We were going to be in the area and Rent was playing. And we were also skipping Rochester Pride, not intentionally, but because the reunion was going on. So
Hmm.
we were skipping Rochester Pride. So we figured, I guess the least we can do is go see a production of Rent.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that must have been great.
It was, but they do all this other, they're doing a production of other Shakespeare plays
Yeah.
right now. There's a King Lear and it's a really neat. Well, they have multiple stages, so this was on their main stage, but it's a
Yeah.
really neat sort of rounded sort of situation.
Hmm.
And we had really good seats.
That's
So it was
nice.
it was a kind of thing where I want to go back. And I feel like so in our technological age where all the movies are Marvel and everything else is artificial intelligence and blah blah blah, I was like, I kind of want to just go to more theater and stuff. Like
That does sound fun.
I think I'm over digital entertainment. So I think like I think I want more theater in general, but also like Shakespeare and stuff in my life, because
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen an entire Shakespeare. I've seen filmed Shakespeare plays on TV on like PBS, and I've seen Shakespeare play movies, and I've read Shakespeare plays in school and stuff, but I don't know that I've ever sat in a theater for an entire Shakespeare play,
Yeah. So I
which
know I joke about going to public schools and whatnot, but we had a really great opportunity when I was a kid going to Penfield High School. Every year, we would all get on a bus and take a field trip up to the Stratford Festival.
Oh,
And I remember we definitely saw Hamlet, and I think we saw Romeo and Juliet, maybe. And we saw a modernized production of Julius Caesar where they all wore tracksuits.
oh, and I bet we were mad about it.
Well, yeah, it was interesting and it was cool. And it was, I mean, I'm still grateful for the experience, even though my memory is trash. So
Hmm.
if you asked me who was in these plays or anything, I'd have to look it up. It was still a super neat opportunity.
Yeah, that is very, yeah, we didn't do that in any
And then
schools I went
after
to.
high school, because I used to like King Lear a lot, my parents got us all tickets to go up to the Stratford Festival.
How fun.
Yeah, so I've been there a handful of times. It's really awesome.
It's a fun little area, and I haven't really been there before. I think we've been to the Shaw Festival, which is a little bit closer, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. But I mean, it's the kind of, if you're willing to cross the border, it's
Yeah,
within kind of a driving distance, that's not wildly unreasonable. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of arts in our area that we could be taking better advantage of, including the free, or you can go to the park and see the free Shakespeare
I
this Friday.
mean, why the heck not this Friday? Or I think it's going on most weeknights and weekend nights through about the end of the month.
Yeah, whenever they do stuff, sure. That sounds good. So
Yeah,
let's do
so
that.
just,
Although I don't know if I'm going to this one, but I am
well, I don't know if
supportive.
I am either because it might rain.
It might rain. And they do have,
Um,
you know what, I'll tell you what their website is, everybody, while we're listening. It is, oh, it's just rochestercommunityplayers.org, and they do have weather updates. But it's in the park and it's free, so it's not like you have to get your money back if, there's a
yeah,
rain out
that's
or
the thing.
anything.
Like you just put your camp chair back in the back of your car or wherever you store it,
Yeah.
and then you're
How to
fine.
direct. Oh, I could be a director.
You could be a
I'm looking
director.
I'm looking at the get involved. I would love, oh wow. No accepting. Do you think I have to
Maybe
have
you should
any
join.
any experience directing a play? But I'm looking at the
But
get involved.
you used to do like school plays and stuff. You have experience.
Oh yeah, all that stuff. I've never directed anything.
Yeah,
Um,
but you're
but
smart. I think you could do it.
interesting. I think I could do it. I just don't know that they'd like I think it's one of the things where I think I I really delusionally, I really do think I absolutely could do it. I don't know that anyone would hire me, or I don't know if this is a hiring situation. This is probably volunteer, but I don't know that anyone would like be like, if I said, well, I've never actually directed anything, but I have been in some plays and I'm pretty sure I could do it. That's a hard sell, I think.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what their volunteer needs are.
Yeah. Do you think they're just desperate for directors?
I I honestly don't know. I used to work
Yeah.
with someone who was very closely involved with RAPA, whatever that stands for, like Rochester Area Performing Arts, I think.
Okay.
And that's another thing to look into with local shows and stuff. I don't think they're free, but I also don't think the cost to go to more local productions is anywhere near like the Broadway Theater League or whatever.
Well, I'm going to put this into the universe right now.
Yeah,
I would like to direct your show, whoever you are.
you can
Not
direct
whoever
my
you are.
show. Yeah, not
Know if I
me.
want to. I don't know if I want to direct your show, but
I'm so supportive of you.
I know I'm supportive of you. I'm just saying you don't have a show, so I'm gonna need to
What
see
if I start one? It'll
if
be a
you
one woman show.
you direct your one woman show.
Yeah,
Just get up on stage and talk.
yeah.
That sounds easy. Sure, I'll do it. I assume the pay's good.
um, I will pay you in hot pink spicy sauce.
I bet you won't because you don't
I'm
have the
having
kind
a
of money to
five
go to
gallon.
Brazil.
I'm having a 5 gallon drum flown in from Brazil as we speak.
All right, that's fair. Maybe it's delicious. It could
I
be
bet it
delicious.
is. I bet it's the
It's probably good.
best.
Yeah. Or I want to be in your play, everybody. But listen, not I don't want so here's the thing. I want to be very specific here. I don't see there's a lot, Rochester has this bustling art scene, and there's some really good stuff that goes on. There's some really impressive stuff, both in terms of classical well-known plays, and also in terms of people's doing stuff, people's stuff that they've written currently. It's local, it's great, lots of talent, lots of artists. And then there's also like, hey, I wrote a play and there was a place to do it, so I'm doing it. And that my experience in that realm is like,
Yeah.
it's maybe it's good, maybe it's not, but also you're probably not very organized and I'm going to get stressed out. So it's not even the quality of your play I'm talking about that it's going to make me not want to be in and or direct your play, but it's like I need a level of professionalism. I'm just going to say that. And
I don't
not I'm
know,
not
Ross. I
talking
think
about
you've
like,
got to start somewhere.
I know, but I don't want to. This is the problem. Okay, let me be very clear. I don't want to start somewhere. I want you to give me your play to direct, and I want it to be good already. And
Well, all
I'm just
right,
going to do
space
the.
cadets. You heard the man.
This is what I'm putting into the universe.
Make with the plays.
I just, what I'm talking about, though. You do some of the locals. Listen. I am not poo-pooing anyone's artistic vision, but sometimes with the local scene, you get involved in stuff, and then it's like, oh, Jim didn't show up till 7, and Dave is coming tomorrow, and Tina moved, but we
Uh
forgot to tell
huh.
anyone. It's that kind of
Yeah.
thing, and
Oh,
that's
I
too
know
much for me.
exactly what
I
you
can't.
mean.
I can wrangle people to a point, but
I believe that's why there are only two of us, because at least we can usually manage to wrangle ourselves
yeah, exactly.
and no one
So.
else.
So I guess I'm putting a very specific vision into the universe of
Well, that sounds good. When you're setting an intention, it is best to be deliberate and specific.
yeah, because I'm very I think I'm very when you make the wish with the when you rub the lamp and make the wish, like the jinn or genie or non-binary, I don't know what the non-binary word for a non-binary jinn or genie is, but when you make that wish, like they're just looking for a loophole to get you,
They are.
So that's kind of how I approach life. It's
Yep.
like God or the genie or whoever is looking for a loophole to get you. So
Yeah.
you
Hedge your
better
bets.
think it. You better think it through. What else is going
So I ran across
on?
something interesting today, and it was the band Guar performing on NPR at their Tiny Desk series.
Okay.
And I had some thoughts about this. Nothing firm. I don't think anything controversial. It's just you're aware of Guar, right?
I'm aware of Guar.
Kind of like a shock rock, gross out, like funny but like over the top, gross band that's been, performing and shocking people and being subversive for years and years and years.
Yeah, like
And
decades.
yeah. And so then I was having thoughts like, A, I love that Guar is on NPR Tiny Desk. But then B, I kind of don't, because aren't there still things that like I don't want NPR, I guess, to be snotty, but I guess sometimes I want them to be snotty.
Oh, so you're okay. So I thought the way this was going to go was that your concern was going to be like Guar selling out by being on NPR, but
Oh,
you're
Guar has always done what Guar wants to do. If they didn't want to be on Tiny Desk, they would not have been on Tiny Desk.
okay. And also, interesting fun fact about Guar, I guess like none of the original members are alive. So
That
it's one of
yeah,
those
that
like
makes yeah.
so it's one of
Yeah,
those
Guar is its thing, not who's
it's a
in Guar. Guar
it's
is
like a
Guar.
franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um
But like,
I I don't know, was it any good?
yeah, I mean it was Guar.
Okay.
Uh, I didn't watch the whole thing because I ran out of time. Um, Sounded like Guar, looked like Guar. Um, but yeah, it made me question it. Again, I don't know where I come down on this, but it did occur to me like, do I want NPR to be a little bit higher brow? And is that why I was like, guys, come on? Or should I be like super glad like Guar is on NPR?
I don't know. I mean, so here's sight unheard and not really knowing hardly anything about Guar. Here's my hot take. Um, I think it's fine because it's not like it's not like this is the new hot band
That's true.
that's sort of crappy, but you're sort of like, oh, okay, you're getting a spot on NPR, even though you don't fit in with anything on NPR and you're not very good, but you're just popular. I mean, this is a this is
It's
like a
an
40 plus year old
institution.
band.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like NPR is not doing it for they're if
Okay.
they're doing it because they think it's going to be fun or interesting or whatever. They're not doing it for like they're not chasing clout by having Guar on at this point.
All right. Um, I mean,
So
I
I'm
don't
going to
know
say their
though.
motives are pure.
Well, and I feel like the fact that I was able to think of a thing to possibly formulate any kind of opinion on is pretty good, given everything. So, yeah, so that was just interesting because they even mentioned like some years ago there was a headline on a parody news site about like Guar asks NPR if they're ready to get their bleeps torn open.
It's also interesting, it's again, I don't know a thing about Guar. I know they exist and I can kind of picture their weird costumes and stuff,
Yeah.
but I also don't I try not to get too no, I don't. This isn't true what I'm about to gonna say. I was gonna say I try not to get too snobby about music, but that's not true. But like I was listening today. So there's a new edition of Beowulf. A new it's the Seamus Haney translation from like, but there's a new copy. There's a new printing from the Folio Society, and it's very and I there was a podcast interview with the person who wrote the introduction. I don't remember her name. Apologize, but if you I guess if you go to the Folio Society Beowulf and look up who did the introduction, that's who I'm talking about. And seemed very smart and lovely and wonderful. But she was talking about how much the this a lot of the stuff that we put in book form now was once, of course, it was of course meant to be, it was spoken, it was spoken word stuff that was eventually written down, and that's kind of what we carry through.
Mm-hmm.
But she was talking about how the cadences of like old English or Germanic alliterative poetry are very similar to rap. And the more she was talking about that, the more I was thinking about that. And I was like, that's so interesting that we consider, at least some people consider rap such a low form of music, which I don't share that opinion.
Yeah,
I
no.
never I
And
never have, but
I mean, I think
a
we,
lot of people do.
I guess there is with that the one thing where people are like, well, they're just talking, they're not even singing. But it's a different kind of talking. Like it's rhyming and it's rhythmic.
Yeah,
And certainly not everybody can do it. I I think we could say there are a lot of reasons people don't like rap that have nothing to do with the sound of it at all.
agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know even like older black people who are like, oh, who have the same kind of opinion just because it's so different from what we I agree. Most of the reason I think
Most not
I think the
everybody.
majority I think the majority of people who don't like rap, it's because they don't
Yeah,
like things associated with black people. But
yeah. Yeah, but I do think there are also some people because like I don't like modern country music.
Mhm.
It just doesn't sound good to my ears. So I'm sure there are also people out there who legitimately are like, that just doesn't sound good to my ears.
Yeah,
And they've
and you
got
can have
no
all
issue
sorts.
with it other than like, it's not my personal taste.
Yeah, and you can have all sorts of opinions about all sorts of things.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so I try to be careful, I guess, at least about getting too snobby because I'm like, maybe I'm just, and I feel the same way about like sort of modern pop country music where I'm like, there's not a lot to this. I'm not, there does not seem to be me to be, and I like bluegrass, I like blues, I like a lot of country adjacent or sort of proto country, what we'd call country now. I like a lot. So it's not that I can't handle anything that you could group under the very broad umbrella of country,
Mm-hmm.
but the sort of the modern pop country, I'm like, yeah, I don't, this is kind of silly and
Yeah.
simple to me. But
Well, and especially like all the songs about trucks. Like
yeah,
that's my kind of thing. Like I don't need to hear the song about picking up my daddy's truck and taking it down to the watering hole for some real good feel good stuff.
right. But I guess the point being, if something like Guar has been around for 40 years and it's still
Yeah.
kicking, maybe there's more to it than,
Oh, I think it's because they're fun and the music actually sounded good.
yeah.
Like I was listening to it, I was like, because I like you, I don't know Guar really well. I'm not one of those people who can say like, I've been in the front row 10 times. I've just been very aware of them. But yeah, hearing the music today, I was like, sounds good.
Yeah.
Like it's just good metal music.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what
fun.
else is very old?
Me?
Well, yeah, that's not where I was going, but I
Oh,
mean, yeah. I mean, no, no, not you. You're you're timeless to me, Heather. Um, it's very old, Heather, is the universe.
yeah. Are we coming up on the science portion of the show?
Yes. Is that okay? If we
Right.
do
I'm
that?
so excited to lay the science on me.
Well, it's not. So this is more of a this is a little bit of a science portion and a little bit of a the thing we like to do where there's a big thing in the news and then we go, but hold on.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's one
I'm
of
ready.
those.
Lay it
It's one
on
of those
me.
things. So the as of well, this gets very complicated, but as of a couple years ago, the state of the art in figuring out how old the universe was to assume that the universe was uh something like 13.7 billion years old. And I guess there's a lot of play in there, but basically it comes down to um measuring um the oldest the oldest light in the universe. Um
Okay.
a, in this case, the cosmic microwave background radiation, which we've talked about, and sort of, you know, seeing where that light's coming from, seeing how old that light is, and then going, okay, this is what and there's a lot of, again, it gets very complicated when I was trying to research this and make it succinct. It's obviously it gets very complicated. There's a lot of wiggle room in there. There are a lot of questions. Um, but that's the latest um as of 2021. And the but it's been in that neighborhood. That's the estimate of the age of the universe has been in that somewhere around 14 billion years for a long time. That's just, the 13.7 or 13.8 is sort of the latest, but but there have been some issues with that. One was there's at least one star that seems like it could be older than that they call Methuselah,
Oh, I
HD 140283. They actually call it Heather Zykowski.
I know.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, because you're so radiant
I am. It's true.
and old. But
And old. It's yeah. I mean, yeah, and tired
so the
and
measurement
sad.
of the age of that star puts it between like older than the universe or around the exact same age of the universe. So that seems sort of weird. And then I guess there are galaxies that with the JWST telescope, the new JWST telescope, I guess has found galaxies that are like look like they were formed really early. So I guess about 300 million years after the Big Bang, but they look like at that point they look like galaxies we see that are billions of years old. So people go, that's weird that there'd be,
Huh.
it's like, it's like if you were supposedly born in 1977 and then a picture of you in 1980, you look like 50, that, you'd say
Where
that's
did
weird.
you find my school photos?
It's not that you're old. It's just that
Did my mother
age
give you those?
age extremely rapidly. Um, your mom's always giving me pictures of you at various ages. Here's an here she is at 70 in 1980. Here she is in 1995 at 4. It's very strange. No one can quite figure it out.
Yeah, it's all right. It's just, it's not
It's
a,
all the time. It's
yeah.
all the time travel. Like the age of the universe, the age of Heather is also one of science's greatest mysteries,
Yeah,
full of contradictions and things you just can't quite figure out.
that's absolutely true. And I realized over the weekend that the reason I photograph so poorly is because much like Bigfoot, I think I'm blurry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's probably because you shake so much.
Could be that too.
Cause it could be because of could be the DTs. I don't know if you've ever
Oh
given that
my
any thought.
goodness.
But so
Uh
there's a new there's a new paper from the journal Monthly Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, which
Oh my.
kind of weird name, but and the author Rajendra Gupta, who's an adjunct professor of physics in the Faculty of Science at the University of Ottawa, that says that 13.7 billion years is just ridiculous. It's actually closer to 26.7 billion years old. It's almost twice as old, Heather.
Whoa.
Can you believe it?
How'd that happen?
It's because of science. I don't know. Don't ask for details on this. No, so basically, again, this sort of most succinct way I could figure out to make this make sense was basically, so he calls it the tired light theory, which is the idea that,
Yeah.
so we're looking at this light from the Big Bang and using that to estimate how old the universe is. He postulates that sometimes the photons of light don't keep moving at the same rate. Once they get very, 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 very old, you know what I'm talking about, they slow down.
Yeah.
So it distorts the picture.
Wow. All right.
So this has been
Interesting.
all over the news today, and the headlines, of course, have been like, universe is twice as old as we thought. That's um which is interesting.
Yeah.
um but then when I was reading some like sciencey type people, they were like, this is one paper and it sort of assumes something that's not proven, which is this light slowing down thing.
Right.
And
Because that would also mean that the speed of light isn't the speed of light.
um yeah, yeah, basically. I mean,
Because, I mean, I guess there's the speed of tired light, and then the speed of
yeah,
light now is what's being posited.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah, that was a good way of putting it. So yeah, the stuff I was seeing was, it's interesting, and it because it, it also doesn't solve the problem of why we see the why we're it basically creates as many problems as it would solve about questions about the age of the universe. So a lot of the stuff I was seeing, with all that being said, a lot of the stuff I was seeing was basically like, okay, this is one paper and it's interesting, but it's not, it doesn't, don't don't change your calendars yet.
Still, it's neat. And it's also neat to come across news that isn't like something that will make you curl up in a corner for the rest of the day.
Well, this is why I'm like, I mean, this is why when I was talking about, sometimes I retreat into, this is why when I was saying like, I want to see more Shakespeare plays and
Yeah.
musical theater things, this is me. I feel like more and more I'm just retreating into, let me like just appreciate things from the past, because things in the present and the future are no good.
Yeah, it's true. I really would like to see more musicals.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as familiar with so many of them. That's another thing we used to do sometimes when I was a kid. And I always loved them. I love the spectacle. I love
Yeah.
singing and dancing.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can you can go to musicals. I mean, the nice thing for people who live in Rochester is there are an awful lot of things around here. There are an awful lot of opportunities for things like this.
Mm-hmm.
We have several theater companies. We have the Broadway Theater League, which Mike and I always do, which is like the big Broadway shows. And okay, they're a couple of years old by the time they get here, but that's all right. I mean,
Yeah, that's
you know,
fine. I don't need to see them when they're brand new.
yeah,
Bring the
exactly.
touring company around. That's good enough for me.
Yeah. So, there is an awful lot of stuff. Just Rochester does have a really, if one takes advantage, and some of it's free and some of it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
expensive, and so, but that's true of anywhere too. I mean, if you go to a musical in New York City, it's also going to be kind of expensive. So
Right.
it'll be cheaper in Rochester, I can almost guarantee you.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And not even too far away. I was wondering, and this is maybe not going to be very interesting for listeners, but I actually have a question about traveling to Canada. How's the traffic? Is it an easy drive or a hard drive?
Like, in general.
Like if I were to go to a show at the Stratford Festival,
Yeah.
in your opinion, because I don't like driving,
Yeah.
is that something that would make me very stressed or just somewhat stressed?
Um, Well, I mean, going to like traffic in and around Toronto is often horrifying.
Okay, that's
Um,
what I've heard. And one of the routes I have for going elsewhere in Canada has me going more miles, but saving a lot of time by bypassing Toronto,
oh yeah.
by just like
Yeah.
taking a bulge out and going farther than I would have to, but so much more quickly because I won't be in Toronto traffic.
Yeah, exactly. But for Stratford, you don't, I mean, you sort of skirt Toronto, but you don't have to go there. So that part is
Okay.
fine. I mean, the only, I mean, yeah, I mean, the only part is we mostly took, we mostly didn't take, yeah, the highway's fine, like the QEW is fine,
Okay.
usually. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, the only stressful part is sometimes, depending on when you go, is crossing the border.
Okay. Okay, great. That is wonderful to know because I would like to go. I've got some friends up there I'd like to visit, but I have never driven in Canada myself. And so I'd already had it in mind like, if I go to Toronto, I'm just taking the train. I am not driving in Toronto. Forget it. But if I want to go see somebody who lives like an hour outside of Toronto, I can just do a little bloop around the city.
Yeah, it's sort of fine. And I've even driven in the, and I don't like driving much more than really any more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've driven like I have ridden and also driven personally in and out of Toronto. And yeah, it's not great, but
Okay.
it's survivable. I mean,
All right. Good. And especially to know, like, because I was even talking with my dad about this, and he's a very good driver and he loves driving. And I was saying, like, oh, if I go to Toronto, I'm just going to take the train. And he was like, that's good because even I don't like driving on the QE2. And I was like, wow, if you don't like driving on that,
well, the QE2 is a
I'm
boat. So you definitely
so
don't want to
what's the
drive on
other
that.
one? What's the other one?
The
Help me out. My
QEW
brain's
is
not
the
good.
highway.
QEW, thanks.
Yeah.
Um,
So you definitely
yeah,
don't want to
I
drive on the
do
QE2.
apologize. My brain
Um,
is, as I said at the beginning of the show, not good. But
I
I
think
don't
the
want to drive on
QEW
that
is
boat
fine.
either.
I think the QEW is fine
It's
though. I mean,
fine.
I
Good.
mean, yeah, like if you're in rush hour Toronto traffic,
Yeah.
then like any city, it's sort of
Mm-hmm.
horrible.
And I
But
remember that from being a little
The QEW itself is 1000%. I would drive on the QEW before I would drive on like 390.
Gorgeous. Oh, this
Yeah.
makes me feel so much better. I'll plan a trip for you soon then.
All right.
Yeah. Because I
You
did
could go
very much want
tonight.
to ask you about that. Yeah, I could. I
Yeah.
can go anytime I want.
You can. You have a passport. That's all you need.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I
And
do.
you
I always
and
get
you don't have a
nervous
lot.
to, huh?
Yeah, and you don't have a lot of drugs smuggled in your
No,
anything. So yeah.
no, I don't. No, I'm one of those people, and I hope I haven't said this on the show, but I might have. I crack myself up with it, especially on the way back into the US from Canada. I start declaring everything, but I never buy anything. So I end up frantically like holding up a box of Tic Tacs, going, "Oh, I love Tic Tacs! Tic Tacs!"
Oh, I
I
feel
get
like that
so
makes you look
nervous though.
I feel like that makes you seem super suspicious.
I, from what I have experienced,
Hmm.
they're just like, get out of here. But I did find that it was weird when I came back from England. I went through customs to get back into the US and they didn't have me fill out a form and they didn't have me do anything. They asked questions that confused me because I'd been awake for too long.
Mm.
One was, do you have any food? And my reply was, uh, like energy bars?
Yeah, they ask really confusing questions. Like, okay, you're talking about like if I went to a farm and bought produce or something, or do I have plants? But yeah, yeah. It's like, well, I have food, but
Yeah, like I had energy bars that I brought from the States that I didn't eat while I was overseas. So I was bringing them back home. What? And then they asked if I had any money. I'm like, yeah. Like, who goes on vacation without a little bit of money? Like, yeah,
yeah,
but it's so confusing.
yeah, those questions are always confusing. As
Yeah.
long
So
as you declare the Tic Tacs, I think you're fine.
I'll try to be prepared for Canada because even it seemed like going to England when I had what I thought were the most straightforward reasons to be there. Like, I'm going on vacation. I'm meeting friends. I'm staying at a hotel. That didn't seem satisfactory. And
Hmm.
so now I do worry a little bit like, I'm going to a show and I'm going to visit some friends. Like, what?
But sometimes I think the thing is to I don't know what the training is, but sometimes I think they're just trying to trip you up so they get weird. Like
Maybe
I don't
that's it. And then
I
it
don't
gets
even
weird
think
trying
it's
to trip me up because I have not once, I've got to say, like, right here on the radio, I say I'm not much of a criminal. It's
Mhm.
unfortunate. I like to pretend like, I'm pretty bad. But really, if I tell you I'm going to Canada to visit some friends, I'm honestly just going to visit some friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sometimes they get weird even about simple stuff because they're trying to like make you nervous or trip you up or make you say something weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I don't
I've
know.
gotten that impression like, okay, I gave you a straightforward answer. The answer is not going to change.
See, and I think that's why I get so nervous and start declaring things like the tiny jug of maple syrup.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, what more do you want from me? I've given you the truth. I can give you more true things. I did buy Tic
Yeah.
Tacs
Yeah, I think you're doing what they want you to do, which is like you're going to keep saying things until
until something
the truth
incriminating
comes
comes
out.
out.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, the truth is still like, no, honest, I bought some Tic Tacs. Like, it's a very boring truth.
Yeah.
I got nothing. Got nothing for
Yeah.
no one.
We don't have anything there. One time we did. One time we had something weird, but it was like I don't know, we sort of shuffled, but it was one of those things where like, oh, we had, you know, we had a piece of fruit or something, and it was like, hide the fruit. It was one of those things like we're
Because you'd taken
transporting produce,
like an orange from the breakfast buffet at the hotel and didn't get a chance to
basically.
quite
Yeah.
eat
And
it
I was like,
yet.
oh, I don't want to throw my orange away. This is a perfectly good orange.
I know. I do remember being on family vacations and they would press my dad and it's like, wow, if he's trying to run some kind of weird scam, he's doing a great job with packing up the car with two children
Hmm.
and a woman who's age appropriate to be his wife and then like having their wedding rings match and everything like pretty good.
Yeah.
And he would do the same thing because they'd keep pressing. And so he'd keep declaring, like, oh, yes. And we bought some of those plastic bracelets for the girls. And my sister and I like holding up our wrists, showing off our jelly bracelets. Oh, and we bought some candies for the girls. We're like showing them.
I think it's also probably a very tiresome job.
It's gotta be.
So they
It's
probably get
gotta
bored.
be.
Yeah.
That maybe that's it. I don't know. But I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I get back from Canada how it went
I
crossing the
can't wait to hear.
border.
I can't
I
wait to
know it'll be
hear.
exciting.
I can't wait to bail you out of Canadian jail.
Well, you just make sure I'm not trying to get you to bail me out with iTunes gift cards or anything like that. Make sure
That's
it's
true.
really me in Canadian jail.
I would never give you an iTunes gift card.
Not
If that
even
ever
for my
happens,
birthday.
just assume that I've been kidnapped.
What if I ask for it for my birthday?
You're still not getting an iTunes gift card because I don't even know where to get an iTunes gift card.
I don't either.
Yeah.
You know what I think the space cadets would probably like for their birthdays right now, whether it's their birthdays or not.
For
I
us
think
to
they'd
get
like it
the
if we
hell out of
stopped.
here. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for putting up with us today, Space Cadets. It's been a lot of fun. It's been good for us, or at least I don't want to speak for Ross. It's been good for me to talk with Ross here on the show today. Hopefully, you had a good time listening to us as sparks just fly out of our ears. Stick around for more great content here on WAYOLP Rochester, and we'll be back next week.
Very good.